arc length and length of curve. So here is how we find the length of curve. Suppose we have a vector r of t. So this is a vector r of t. I should add an arrow right over here. This vector is three-dimensional, has three components, t, 3 cosine t and 3 sine of t. And then what we are trying to do is we have a vector. We are trying to find the length of this arc by using this formula. I want this vector goes from -5 to 5, and then to find the length I have to do a definite integral. T goes from a to b, and then the integrand is the magnitude of what? Of the derivative of this vector. So this is r prime of t. Find the derivative first, and then you find the magnitude, and then you take the definite integral of that. And then another way to write this formula is taking the derivative of f, g, and h. So suppose you have a three-dimensional vector. If you have a two-dimensional, you just get rid of the h, right? So you take the derivative first and then square the result. Same thing right here, dx dt and then dy dt. You take the derivative first and then you square the result. So for the first problem, the derivative of vector r is the derivative of t is equals to 1. So the derivative of t is equals to 1. The derivative of 3 cosine of t is -3 sine of t. And then the derivative of sine is cosine, so 3 cosine of t. And then this is the derivative of the vector r, and then you find the magnitude. The magnitude is you take the big square root, and then inside the square root you square every individual component. So you have a square root, so we draw a square root first. And then you have a 1 square plus -3 sine t square, and then plus 3 cosine of t square. So you square every individual term. That is equals to the square root of, you have a 1, you have a 9 sine square of t, and then you have a cosine square of t. So plus, forgot the plus, t, and then plus 9 cosine square of t. And then this, we can factor out the 9. And then we have a square root, 1 plus factor out the 9. You have sine square t plus cosine square t. And then sine square plus cosine square is equals to 1. And then this becomes 1 plus 9 times 1, which is square root of 10. So this is the square root of 10. So now we have the integrand, and then the arc length is L equals to, t goes from -5 to 5, and then you are taking the square root of integral of 10. Did I say integral of 10? Square root of 10 dt. This is easy. Square root of 10t, and then t goes from -5 to 5, and then you have 5 minus -5, right? And then L is equals to root 10. And then you have 5 minus -5, that is equals to 10. So the length is root 10 times 10. So this is the length. That is equals to 10 times square root of 10. That is the first problem. Right, so for the second problem, this time we have a I, j, and k, same thing. The first step is you take the derivative. So the first step is you take the derivative. You have vector r prime of t. The derivative of root 2 times t is equals to square root of 2. This is a I, and then e to the anything is e to the anything, and then you have j, and then this will be what? E to the -t. By chain rule, the derivative of -t is equals to -1, and then you have your k. And then for the magnitude, you take the big square root, and then you square every individual component. So this will be a root 2. You square that, and then et, you square that, and then -e to the -t, you square that, and then that is equals to, we have a big square root, you have 2 plus e to the 2t, and then plus e to the -2t. This one you have to factor. That one you have to factor. You are studying vector right now, you should know how to factor this. So this one, the factor is equals to the square of e to the t plus e to the -t. That is how you factor that. And then the square root of square, that get rid of the square root e to the t, and then plus e to the -t. So this is the magnitude. And then now you are looking for what? You are looking for the arc length. the length of a curve. So you have a curve. What is the length of this curve? The length of this curve is equals to L. T goes from 0 to 1, and then you are integrating the magnitude, which is e to the t plus e to the negative t, and then dt. So that is equals to e to the t, and then e to the negative t is e to the negative t. You have a minus. Do you see how that works? When you take the derivative of that, the minus get rid of this, the negative get rid the negative, and the minus becomes a positive. And then t goes from 0 to 1, plug in 1, plug in 0. That is by the fundamental theorem of calculus. So you have e to the first minus e to the negative 1, and then you subtract e to the 0 minus e to the 0. So e to the 0 minus itself is gone at the end of the day. The length is e minus e to the negative 1. So this is the length of the arc. Alright, so it's very simple. So all you have to do is you just follow this formula step by step. You start with vector r, and then you take the derivative of that. That is the first step, and then you find the magnitude. After you found the magnitude, you just do a definite integral. Okay, and then whatever the result is, that is the length of the arc. Alright, so that is the end of this video. If you like the way I explain arc length of a curve, give this video a thumbs up. If this is something that you want to see in the future, subscribe to my channel. As always, I will meet you all in the next lesson. Signing out.